In today's show, a Crows lifeline rescues an AFL career and lessons for grassroots players in how to recover from games. Hi, I'm Mark Bickley and welcome to the Crows Show, brought to you by the Roadhouse Whopper and Roadhouse Jack's Fried Chicken at Hungry Jack's. Also joining us, Belinda Sloane.
Biggs, I can vouch for the fact that players need a hobby to take their mind off football. And this boat behind me gives you a clue as to how one player spends his time away from the game. We'll catch up with him shortly. Thanks, Belinda. When a player switches clubs, it more often than not provides the spark that reignites their career. Mitch Hinge, for example, joined the Crows after playing just 3 games in 3 years with Brisbane. Now he's enjoying a breakout season, notching up 12 games and realising his boyhood dream of playing for Adelaide.
I can be really happy and positive about my kind of year to date and the output, considering I've only really played 4 games up to this year. But I think I sit back and I still, without being too hard on myself, I still can see a lot of aspects of where I can improve, and to really reach my potential I think there's a lot of consistency levels, and also just being able to back myself and play highly at the level.
Popped his shoulder out there. The arm comes over from rolling.
Obviously it was quite disappointing initially, missing it all the last year, but as I've said before, we probably sat down and we looked at areas where I could probably improve off field or physically in my time away. I've been really happy with how I was able to increase my strength and fitness. Once I started back running and building some physical attributes again, probably from the middle of last year all through the pre-season. So that's obviously helped me to have a stronger output this season and play some AFL games, and that's been really pleasing. Playing at the highest level, you're always going to have bumps and bruises going into kind of each and every week, and that's probably something I've had to navigate through a little bit through this year. But in terms of how we've rehabbed it, I can't thank the club enough. The strength and conditioning boys and the rehab guys as well. They've put a load of work into me to get me back to being as good as I can be. And in terms of my shoulder this year, I haven't really thought twice about it. I can draw things from a few people. I moved in with Keezy the back end of last year, and just seeing how he prepares himself, and I've been able to take a few things away from what he does to kind of prepare himself as best as he can each week. And I think Dorse coming to the club, I reckon, not that he would know this, and I'd be reluctant to tell him just because he'll have it over me. He's been really good in terms of the knowledge he's kind of brought over, and how his personality, we kind of suit each other in a way. And he's been through a little bit of what I've been through. He was stuck in the reserves competition when he was over at Sydney for a bit, and he's kind of come along, and we all know how good he's been this year, especially for us. So, I've been trying to draw as much as I can from him, and hopefully I can have a similar trajectory into the future.
Stay with us. After the break, Belinda Sloane and a young player whose ability to catch a big one extends way beyond football.
Boats have been a part of Ned McHenry's life since he was a kid growing up on the coast near Geelong, and he never wastes an opportunity to take to the water for some R&R, more often than not with a teammate. Ned, tell me about your pride and joy here.
Yeah, Val, this is my North Bank 600C, so it's my little fishing boat, and
Little fishing boat.
Well, it's little in context to some of the other boats that are around here, but it's our fishing boat that we go out in, and on days off and days after footy we get to go out there and catch some fish, so I love it.
What does a day out on the boat mean to you?
It's just an amazing outlet for me. It's a great thing to do after training or after games of footy. It obviously takes my mind off footy, and I get off my screen and get to go out on the water and take friends and guys out that don't usually get to do it very often, so I love it. Yeah, it's something that means a lot to me.
What are your favourite spots in South Australia to fish, and what's your favourite fish?
Favourite fish down here to catch is probably the tuna run over summer. So I think I've dropped some tuna off to your house before, but there's a lot of tuna down at Victor Harbour. So I take the boys down there and we go and catch tuna. But otherwise it's probably whiting and squid and hopefully snapper after the band's over.
We did see you go fishing with Ryley, O'Brien and Cozzy earlier in the year, and it seemed to tire Rob out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We went out with Cozzy on his show and caught some tuna that day. But yeah, Ryley, for some reason, whatever it is, I think it's the rocking motion in the water or whatever, but he gets really tired. He's like a big 2-metre baby. Yeah. He falls asleep in the chair, and unless there's absolute mayhem going on with fish, it's hard to get him up. So we got a few tuna in the end that day, so it woke him up, but it was very funny.
Oh, the ball never went out, did it? McHenry for a bonus goal for Adelaide. They'll take that one.
You played almost every game this season. How have you personally seen your performance?
It's been okay. There's been some areas of my footy that I've thought have been consistent, but there's other areas of growth that obviously I want to keep getting better with and keep trying to improve at the level. So yeah, I'm really grateful to play a fair bit of footy still for the club this year, but always looking to improve, so hopefully we can do that.
Any goals for the rest of the season, and on that, any fishing goals?
With my footy goals, there's obviously still a few games left to go in the season, so I think it's really important that I want to be a member of that group that gets a few really good wins and finishes off the end of the year really strongly. And from a fishing front, after footy, hopefully getting down to Port Macdonald or somewhere and catching a big barrel tuna would be awesome. Or maybe hooking the boat up and going up to the Port Lincoln or somewhere up the Eyre Peninsula would be pretty cool. So that's the plan.
Thanks for having us today, Ned. You've certainly taught me a thing or two about fishing.
No worries, Belle. Thanks for coming and having a look at the boat.
Biggs, you much of a fisherman?
Well, I'm great when they're on the bite, Belinda, but my patience is tested when they're not. Now, each week on the show, Tom Duday helps us recall a Crows highlight through the eyes of a teammate. We call them Hungry Jack's Whopper Moments. This time, we turn back the clock to 2014 and the Indigenous round.
All right, time for a Crows Whopper moment, joined by Bucky, Tariq Newchurch. How you going, brother?
Yeah, good, bro. Yourself?
Very good, mate. It's very good to see you. Talk us through your Crows Whopper moment.
Back in 2014, I reckon it was an Indigenous round. Crows down by a few points, and I think Jared Petrenko crumbed it off the pack and socketed it mid-air.
Kerridge, the unlikely hero. Kicks to fall forward. Anything can happen here. Here we go. It's a goal. Can you believe it? It's extraordinary.
You obviously weren't at the game, I'm imagining. You're at home watching it.
Yeah, back in Port Augusta.
Back in Port Augusta. With the family?
Back with the family.
And you were a Crows man?
Crows man.
I remember that vividly because I wasn't at the club at the time, but the way that skims over the pack and a bit similar to the way you play, just bursting through. Have you watched any of Petrenko and in that goal and tried to take that into your game?
Oh yeah, it's sort of. I grew up watching him, and he was probably one of my favourite players as well growing up. But yeah, I try to do something like that every now and then.
Yeah, I think you do pretty well at it. You don't mind kicking a goal, do you?
I don't mind it.
And then the celebration, pointing at the crowd, giving the big pump-up fist. Is that
Nah, I'm no Josh Rochelle.
It always comes back to that. That's good, mate. That's one of the better ones. So I appreciate you joining us and taking us back through memory lane with Pup's goal.
No worries.
Every time you attend an Adelaide Crows home game, you could score a free Whopper from Hungry Jack's. Simply download the Hungry Jack's app for your chance to win.
There's one important part of any game which fans never get to see, but shortly we'll give you an insight. Welcome back. After players finish a game, their day is far from over. Recovery is a crucially important part of being a high-performance athlete. It takes time and is often not without pain. So, what's involved? With the help of Dr. Jones and partners, let's also find out if there are some tips for grassroots players as well.
So recovery is important because it allows you to if you do it effectively, to train really well during the week and work on your skills. If you don't recover well, then often you can carry soreness from the game that doesn't allow you to train and in some cases may not even allow you to play to the best of your ability the next week. Typically depends on when we play. If we play on a Saturday, then on the Sunday the players will get to a beach by themselves. It's really important that they get into some water and move around in there for recovery. On the Monday we'll have a range of options for them: massage, compression boots, sauna, ice bath. Nutrition, most important, so get some protein into you straight after games. So that can be a protein shake, or it can be a meal with protein in it. Sleep is really important for recovery, and if I could have only those two things, I'd take those two things. But if you don't have any other anything, like boots or spas or saunas, then some sort of water, whether that's beach or a pool, and finally some compression tights. They're pretty inexpensive these days, and they certainly, if you can sleep in those, they certainly help your recovery as well.
One man who used to love his ice baths was Sam Jacobs. Well, you can catch Big Sauce and his mate Tomo on the Crows radio show every Sunday morning at 9 on Triple M.
The most extraordinary, captivating drama is going down to the last. It's only one man to cover himself in glory. He's coming back. He got there. The sins.
There's nothing like seeing the action live. Tickets are on sale now. Visit ticketek.com.au.
The Crows' major partner, Toyota, is proud to support athletes across a variety of sports. Recently, Toyota gave 2 Crows players the opportunity to try their hand at wheelchair rugby. Keeping a watchful eye was Paralympic champion and Toyota ambassador Ryley Batt.
Hey guys, Fisher Maxey here. I'm here with Jacko Haitley and Paralympian Ryley Batt. We're trying out something new today. We're trying some wheelchair rugby, so we'll see how we go.
So get more speed going. More speed, come on. You got mine, then grab the inside wheel and that'll turn that way. Whatever wheel you grab, it'll turn. You know what I mean? And if you want to stop, just run into someone. It's easier. You go push, go on. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, Ryley. Thanks for having us. We had a bit of a wheel around out there with you guys. How do you think we went?
I actually think you guys did really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a weird scenario for you guys. Obviously, trying to coordinate a wheelchair, not just your legs. You guys killed it. Well done.
It was tough. It was very tough. So how did you get into wheelchair rugby yourself?
So for myself, I was born with my disability. It's limb deficiency, deformity, and grew up on a skateboard. That was my mode of transport, getting around. Yeah. It was actually a school sport. Wheelchair rugby was a school sport for me. I was about 12 years old, and at the time I hated wheelchairs. I thought they were for disabled people, and even though I had a disability, just thought, that's not for me. I don't want to be in a wheelchair, and ended up getting in the wheelchair and jumped in these wheelchair rugby chairs, what you see I'm in today, and had an absolute ball, mate, as a 12-year-old.
And what some of the things, obviously you've grown and now considered one of the best, if not the best player in the world. What are some of the things you love about the sport?
I'm a competitor, just like you blokes. I love to win. I love to be in high pressure situations. I love to be able to represent my country, and played over 320 games now for Australia. Would have been just getting out there, traveling the world, meeting new friends, camaraderie. The ones to remember are obviously our 2 Paralympic gold medals. For us, that's the pinnacle of our sport, and we only get to try to achieve that every 4 years. I just want to feel that moment of glory with the team again, mate. You know how addictive it is.
Oh, absolutely. Winning's very addictive. And you're a proud Toyota ambassador. How has Toyota helped you along your journey?
Yeah, absolutely love being a Toyota ambassador. It's been absolutely amazing for my game. So a lot of people don't know this, but Toyota, helped me with an amazing vehicle just to get me around the training. Not only do they do that, they also look after me with they made a custom-made carbon fibre seat for my wheelchair rugby chair. So things like that mean a lot for us in Paralympic sport, because there's not many companies that want to sort of push that envelope, and Toyota said, we want to do this.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for having Fish and I today, and we look forward to supporting you in the 2024 Paralympic Games.
Yeah, cheers blokes, and up the Crows, eh?
Up the Crows, that's it. Thanks, Ryley.
From wheelchair rugby to wheelchair football. After the break, we'll focus on a special brand of our game, enriching people's lives. Whenever you watch football, you want it to be exciting, fast-paced, skillful and highly tactical. Well, that's just what wheelchair football promises both participants and spectators. Last night, the SANFL's second season of wheelchair football started with 4 teams: Central District, Norwood, the Eagles and last year's premiers, Sturt. With the help of Bendigo Bank, let's find out more.
At SANFL, we're really focused on getting everyone in the community involved. We're an inclusive organisation and we want everyone to be able to enjoy our great game. We've seen wheelchair football being played at an interstate level. On the back of that, we thought, well, we should get serious with it here in South Australia and establish a competition which will allow our players to improve and encourage more and more people to get involved. You know, it's available for anyone to play. We've seen examples where we've had families with a person with a disability playing and a brother or sister or father playing in the same team. That's something that's rarely seen, and it's a great opportunity for those people to participate.
Disability sports has played a big part in my life. I've got a nephew who was born with no legs, so I've got into wheelchair basketball to help him along. And then my girlfriend had a son who has MS, so it was all good to get in and play sports with him. And once I started, I couldn't stop. It's just great to get all the kids together. It's inclusive sport, and just to watch guys come out that couldn't go the full length of the court, to be able to now go full length of the court. We've got a young fella that couldn't hit the ball more than 2 metres last year. He's scoring from 10 metres out, so it's just a brilliant thing to see grow.
Wheelchair footy got into about 4 or 5 years ago. There was a state team playing at nationals, and I got involved with some of the guys I used to play some wheelchair basketball with, and it's good to get onto a field and be competitive as much as you can. I think that's the white line fever of a bit of aggression still chair on chair contact, obviously within the rules, but you still play hard and you want to win. Teams of 5 played on a basketball court with sort of netball court thirds. So you got 2 backs, 2 forwards and a centre. Your forwards can shoot goals, your centre can go full court, and your defenders can go 2/3 of their court. So handballing is, instead of a kick and an underarm pass would relate to a handball. Same 6 points for a goal. It's just good fun.
Sort of last year we saw Sturt, Norwood, Woodville West, Torrens and Central Districts. They were Norwood clubs, and they'll continue to be the 4 clubs involved this year as we build on numbers. And hopefully in 2023 we'll see some additional clubs get involved, and then we'll be focused on growing that to potential junior competition as well at some stage.
Players are also competing for a place in the South Australian team at the National Championships in November. Okay, time to find our crow in the crowd. If you take a photo of yourself or a friend at one of our games and post it to social media, make sure you use the hashtag WeFlyAsOne. You've all been happy snappers recently, so let's settle on you. Please email faceinthecrowd@afc.com.au to claim your prize of 2 tickets to Toyota's exclusive Hilux Hill at Adelaide Oval. Well, thanks to Flight Centre, this is the time when the coach opens up to the fans. They all realise Matthew Nicks has had to face some challenges. Josh Johnson of Adelaide wants to know what's been the hardest part, what's surprised him, and what's impressed him from the playing group.
Josh, thanks for your question. A really good one, actually. My time in coaching at this footy club, probably one of the hardest things has just been, I guess, getting across the importance of time and patience. And I really love what we're building at the moment. I love the way our young group are developing as human beings, as footballers. The toughest part with that is just having the patience to be able to see it through. The most rewarding part is when you do see these guys step up and their games go to another level. And some of those examples we're seeing at the moment, although we're having some tough times where our results aren't what we're after, there's still that underlying development that's coming through in our players. Sam Berry the last few weeks, Jake Saligo's shown some incredible growth, and it really looks really positive of what these guys are going to bring to our footy club in the future.
Remember, you can always check out the latest news on @TheCrows Show on Twitter, as well as the club's social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for your company today. We're taking a break for a couple of weeks while Channel 7 broadcasts the 2022 Commonwealth Games from England. Together with Belinda Sloane, I'll be back on Saturday, August the 13th. Until then, bye for now.
This program was proudly brought to you by the new Roadhouse Whopper and Roadhouse Jack's Fried Chicken at Hungry Jack's.